Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping in. It's me, the one, the only, ScottXXV. Alright, so what I want to do today is kind of go over the Shai class. The new Shai class that came out recently in BBO. And kind of talk about it. Give it a little bit of a review, if you will. I've been playing the class for a little bit of time now. I'm level 57. I've gotten to the point where I feel like I have enough experience to talk about the class a little bit. And in the background, what you see here is me displaying a few of the abilities that they have in their animations. They look pretty good. I like a lot of the animations they do. The Shai is a very unique class. Once you get over the fact that it is a little girl child thing, you know, a little lolly, not too bad, I suppose. I did not play the class because it was a little lolly, but all right. So the way the class plays seems to be excelling best when it's heavy defense and low offense. And it has pretty high survivability in PvE at the moment. In PvP, it's a little bit of a different story. In the background, what you're seeing is me going over the abilities. And feel free to pause the video whenever you see an ability that you might want to read or look a little closely at. Because a lot of these abilities have super armor on them. And there's one or two that has guard as well, so there's a lot of super armor getting thrown around. They even have an iframe as well. Their dodge ability has an iframe, which is great. They have two heals, one of which is a 60-second heal that heals at 200 HP every couple of seconds. It's a heal over time. And their second one is a shorter duration, 3 seconds, and it heals, I believe, 700 HP every second for 3 seconds, which is pretty nice. But there is no instant heals. Instant heals are very, very strong in PvP. That's one of the main reasons I think I had a lot of trouble, because when I'm playing on my wizard, they have the more instant heals. The heals come in a lot faster. You need those heals when you need those heals. You don't want them over the course of 60 seconds. Now, they do have an Aoe Barrier as well that lasts for 5 seconds, and it gives super armor to the area, I believe 10 people. And it also increases attack speed and reduces attack speed and movement speed of enemies in the area. So it's pretty strong. That's one of their defensive abilities they have. The iframe, which I mentioned previously, it also gives a 10% movement speed to the Shai for 10 seconds, which is pretty nice. The dodge roll gives super armor as well. And it also gives 20% attack speed whenever you do a dodge roll. They do have an AoE AP buff that gives 10 AP to the surrounding players, 10 players, I believe. It also gives super armor to the Shai whenever they're using that ability. I have a lot of dark rifts that popped up, but this is the first one I've done in a while. I need to get around to doing them more often. And you'll see here how kind of I play the Shai on when I'm fighting a boss, for instance. And if you pay attention with the damage output of the boss, it's not real high. Like, I don't take a lot of damage at all. That's, you know, to be expected when I have 400 plus DP, you know. Now, one thing that kind of sucks about the Shai is the lack of abilities, especially offensive abilities. It is not meant to be a combat class, but there is only a handful of abilities that you even have access to do. I mostly found myself auto-attacking, left click and right click ability. That was like the main abilities I used, and a heal every once in a while. So it was a very bland playstyle. Now, if you notice there, the Shai has access to doing a backflip, which is very unique to the class. No other class in BDO has the ability to do a backflip like that. All right, now we're going to be heading over to a different location here in a second to be showing off some of the grinding potential of the Shai. Feel free to pause the video whenever I'm going over my gear. I'm kind of just going to quickly scroll over my gear, show you guys what kind of gear I'm using on my character. I got 134 AP, 397 DP, fairly decent DP, a lot higher than a lot of people, really. I did go defensive heavy on this class. I already built this set on my wizard, so all I did was just transfer the gear over, and it was a pretty smooth transition. Alright, so now we're at the Sawson's Garrison, and I'm going to display kind of the capabilities and how I do my PvE farming solo, and kind of how it's like. This is pretty much how I ended up doing all my grinding on this character, mostly just left clicks. Auto attack left click was my main ability I did constantly. It became kind of bland after a while, you know, but that's the class. You only have a couple of offensive abilities and that's what you get. I did throw in the right click ability every once in a while. The right click ability is kind of fun. Whenever you use it with a Black Spirit Rage, it does a pretty nice amount of damage to the area, AoE damage, and it's pretty nice. But usually what I'll do is I'll use the Z buff, the 50% critical percent, which is very, very nice. It increases my damage by quite a bit, especially when I'm PvE farming. So all in all, I think the Shai will shine in PvE, but I have a hard time thinking it will go very far in PvP, being unable to fight back. If you've not read any of the abilities on the class, it even says on there, it states reduced damage in PvP. The reduced damage has been tested by other people. I've seen videos of people testing it, and it is very, very reduced. Very, very reduced, like 5% damage. It is very bad. With a ridiculous amount of AP, you cannot fight back in PvP. Pretty much pointless to have any amount of AP in PvP, just DP. The PvP aspect of a Shai is kind of lackluster. All you're going to be doing if you do PvP on a Shai is support and just survive. That's all you're going to do. You're just going to be a body to be standing around and throw out defensive buffs and heals. They don't have a res at the moment, but with Awakening, you never know what they might add in. The lack of instant heals is also a pretty big deal for PvP, because when you need a heal, you need that heal now. You don't need it in 60 seconds or 10 seconds whenever the heals start ticking off. So that's another big one for me that I did not like. Now, if you see here in the background, me failing at PvP very, very hard. Now, you seen my gear earlier. It is not bad gear. It's 400 DP, 397 DP. It's very, very close to 400. And I'm getting absolutely deleted by these players in Red Battlefield. I don't know what their gear was, but this was a match I played, and it was absolutely frustrating. I was unable to attack back, and even with all my defensive capabilities, I was unable to do much of anything, and it was very, very sad. I ended up rage quitting and getting out of that match shortly thereafter, filming some of this footage. Okay, so all in all, I think the class is very fun to play. Between all the animations and backflips you can do on the character, it's pretty neat. The playstyle is very unique and different from what I'm used to in BDO, because every class in BDO is designed to be a glass cannon. Very high damage, instant killing everything. Okay, that's the go-to model that everybody uses. Playing a defensive character that has more survivability is kind of different. But I do play a survivable defensive class, my wizard. He's very, very tanky, which is kind of fun to play. When the Awakening comes out for this class, unless it's like groundbreaking and game-changing for the Shai, I don't know if it will change much of what the state of the Shai is at, because the state of the Shai is kind of lackluster at the moment, due to the fact of the PvP reduced damage and lack of instant heals. The heal over time is definitely a good heal. It's just, it's designed more for PvE from what I can tell. The Shai is not intended for PvP from what I can see. Unless I'm reading into this class wrong, I don't think they're going to be used in PvP a whole lot. I could be wrong. But I would give this class a 6.5 out of 10 for all the reasons I stated previously. Majority because of the PvP reasons, because a lot of this game is PvP and you're not going to be able to do a lot of the content because of that. But you're definitely going to shine in PvE. You're going to do very well in PvE. As long as you got good gear, you know, you're going to be just fine. You know, that goes along with anything in the game. As long as you got good gear, you'll be fine. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by, and make sure to check out my Mixer channel whenever I go live on the weekends. I usually stream Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and drop a follow. I would appreciate it. Until next time, peace out.